That makes sense. Yeah, so we're doing a side project, and the side project is going to be called Cowboy Game for now. Cowboy Game is going to be a very similar game to a Roblox game. And it's meant to be a super simple scope, easy to create first-person shooter that uses all of Unforgiven Spaces code. And it comes from the Zone system. So let me just, we'll give this a little start here. And it'll make a bit more sense. So because the Zone system, right, has moving things, and I've already kind of started off by purchasing, I paid $14 for this lovely train. But yeah, so like, you know, we have our Zone system. The Zone system enables us to jump in other physics objects, and, you know, everything that they do is related to those physics objects, right? It's a nice train. Looks like the one that would be pushing the lorry. Yeah. Alright, so we know the object container system works for this project. So what is a train? You know what I mean? A train is just 3 or 4 of these, right, physics zones linked together, right, where they can move in the world, and, you know, obviously not to this degree of craziness like spaceships, but you know, seamlessly have a train that's doing its thing that players can get in. Right, so you can kind of get the idea of what I'm going with here. So, you know, we still have some basic characters. I'm going to turn off all of the items and stuff like that, starting kind of fresh. What is this thing? Did I make a teleport? Anyway, so the gameplay loop of this game is very simple. You have to join with a team of 4 or 8 people. And then, you know, with 4 or 8 people, you're trying to, you know, see how far you can get on the train, you know, like as a team while being raided and attacked. And kind of keep an eye on your fuel. So like every so many kilometers, there's going to be like a little smaller town. And you can kind of like sell off anything that you made along the way from like smaller, like procedurally generated, you know, areas. So the idea is the train keeps moving forever, you know, and generates randomly on the server, you know, different scenes that it's kind of passing through. So, you know, it's already predicted in the very beginning based on a seed, you know, like what you're really going to experience. And this is all related to what we would need for some procedural generation for Unforgiven Space. So if you think about it, like, you know, instead of building an entire planet generator, we're building a system that generates terrain similar to like Arizona. And it does it like well enough with procedural noise to kind of create, you know, like crests and troughs, and, you know, at the very bottom of that shader, we would figure out like where the train tracks would be. So, you know, so there's a bunch of cool, you know, like figuring out using ProcGen where to make a road would be no different than making like these train tracks, and, you know, like making the, you know, the world kind of revolve around those things. So there's a couple of cool challenges, and like all the FPS stuff we're just taking from US, so it's gonna have all of US's character movement, and they'll get refined, like, you know, because they're all shared code. So there's gonna be no difference. Like, they should just, you know, make a train, make it so players can jump in, you know, get the train kind of moving, get the systems in place, and you know, like make the dynamic kind of train system that's going to be kind of creating some different like variations of things. And I think that's a very simple thing to do that has some complicated challenges, but they're complicated challenges that we're actually solving for other purposes, right? Like, and because this is only a 4 or 8 player game, and I plan to just use like the Steamworks integrations, right? Like simple, easy to test implementation, and you know, that's the idea. So it becomes a very, you know, simple, cool game. I haven't actually checked the scale how this looks. I have no colliders or anything, I just want to make sure. Oh no, that actually is the scale. Cool. So this is just kind of an interesting break for me to kind of actually like do something that would be kind of neat, you know, that we can kind of like easily kind of integrate. So instead of like this, you know, this is going to now become, you know, instead of a ship, a train. It's still going to be the same concept. I'm just going to change the code around, you know, so that it's a train. It only moves forward, whatever the track would be. And that whole concept was created because like I already have this procedural track that the train is already moving on. Like it's already kind of doing that. I just need to figure out how we can kind of procedurally add to this and be able to kind of stop it and start it like manually, so it's not automatically, you know, like doing its thing. A lot of code in here that was doing like one specific job and doing it very well, and now we can change it up a bit. Yeah, I think this progress just continues and then just automatically. I think it loops dynamically regardless. I'm gonna check with a colleague of mine and see if I can grab the. Let me see if we can grab some of the world environment stuff from them. We also need to find. And take a look at like CG Trader here as well. I don't know why this doesn't. Yeah, it's got to be in combat mode for it to work. On a fresh grok real quick. And I also want to check the Unity Asset Store. Because I think I do have a desert environment we could just use in testing. Wait, this is low poly? I want a not low poly version of this. Wow, okay. I didn't mean to come across this, but this is fantastic. It's a free package. I'd like to support my work. Cool. We have a 16K height map for Mars. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, the only thing I find weird about like STG Trader is there's such a variation of random stuff here. Random at. That looks like a scan. Yeah, these merge sections are fantastic. Hey, bear-like line. I'm doing something I don't normally do. We're swirling. But we're swirling into a side project, and I don't know if I showed this off yet. So, remember how like I was telling you, like maybe I wasn't telling you. But anyway, there's this game. It's a train game on Roblox. My son is addicted to. Concept's really simple. It's multiplayer. It's co-op. 4 people, 8 people. You work together defending a train from pretty much like outlaws, zombies, werewolves, you know, kind of Valheim's image, you know? And, you know, it's first person, right? I'm not stealing anything. I'm just taking everything from freaking space, right? All of the models, animations, FPS controller, everything's just going to be on freaking spaces. So no code is being done there. If you notice, I'm in the zone system code. The zone system where you can be inside object container zones, and the outside is a little bit different. And you might be thinking, well, why would I do that? Well, a train is a single one of these, and that's it. And in reality, if I do multiple cabooses, which I will be doing, just think of it as just 8 ships, following behind each other in a formation. That's all it is, right? And each ship has its own. And in this case, the hallways or connectors in between the trains would be bridges between physics zone to physics zone to physics zone internally, right? So, in this example scene, we can jump in this thing and it can fly around. Well, a train is exactly the same thing, right? A train just follows along a rail, and you do your thing. So the mechanics for this are really simple, right? You start off and you're in a little town, like a Wild West shanty town, saloon, general store, doctor's office, very basic. You can buy bandages, you buy coal, that's the biggest thing from the hardware store, coal for the train, and you buy your guns, your munitions, and a few other things for the train. You have very limited supply, right? Everything is single shot musket, right? So your main weapon is a shovel, right, in the game, right? First person weapon, shovel. Can't really go wrong with it. So the idea is that you run the train and you're trying to see as far as you can get, right? The train itself is a forward only endless runner, right? So it's an endless runner where every 10 kilometers there's a new little station where you can stop in, right, on the rail line, where you can kind of take a break and repair up, buy new gear, get upgrades, sell off all the things from like enemies that you've killed, like that were like have wanted posters and things like that. Like in Roblox, it's pretty straightforward and it's kind of fun. Like it is actually really fun to play, you know, with my little guy, you know, in this one game. So I thought about, I'm like, hey, I want to make a game that we can use as a portfolio piece, maybe even to throw on Steam. I mean, this is, you know, I'm looking at maybe a $350–450 investment, maybe, when you think about assets and a few other things outside of, you know, my own efforts. So I love the idea, but I gotta lurk, dog. Okay, no worries. So I already have like the art assets for this. We just need to build the systems for it, you know, and figure out, like, there's some interesting, cool challenges that are more complicated. Like the game, in the traditional sense, was already like massive, huge, giant level, and there isn't any procedural generation. It's kind of random prefab chunks for the line that just spawn in, and that's kind of cool, but that's boring. I want to see if we can use some what'll be early terrain generation, which I'll use in Unforgiven Space for Planet Tech itself, like height map data, to auto-generate some of the levels, some of the things and places that the train is moving through, because I think that'll be kind of cool, right? So there's some interesting like challenges all while I'm working on this stuff. You know, I'm working on Unforgiven Space as I'm fine-tuning FPS gameplay. I'm fine-tuning FPS gameplay for the space game, right? It won't have 0G, obviously. It's, you know, it's just the same as being on a station, but I think that's fine. It's very simple, right? So I went and generated some icons and a poster. It's pretty poor right now, but you know, we have like Rail Raiders will be the name of the game. And right, it's something that we can kind of bring to market in, like, you know, it should be like prototypable in like 3 months of not focusing on this thing, you know, like full time. It's more like, hey, this is like something to work on while in between sprints of US, or if I want to like isolate a mechanic from US into this environment, then like I'm just solving, you know, problems for myself, because they're both FPS games, just that I get rid of all network complexity by going with 4 or 8 player co-op, because, you know, it's just taken care of by Steam. I'm going to do it all in Unit initially, and then once I get it all working, I'll get the Steam, because I wanted an excuse actually to kind of integrate Steamworks into the game, because I know eventually the game will be supported on Steam, so we'll have like achievements and things like that for US on Steam. But we kind of distributed ourselves. So yeah, Rail Raiders, this game, and we're gonna bring it. We're gonna just create it, try to bring it to market, see where we get with it, and you know, that's it. Just gonna put it all together, make a prototype, and do some UI stuff, and everything should be mostly hey Dakota, copy and paste from the main game. So I thought it'd be fun, like just to make it. So we're just on CG Trade. I want to see if I can get some of the right terrain for this. This Mars stuff, like I didn't, man, like some of these Mars height map data, like this is like oh, so good. Like totally semi getting distracted. But I'm trying to find some desert, like, general terrain that we can use that looks good. And there might be something in ambient CG. I might just see if we can grab something from ambient CG. I just want a world mesh, right, for like the Wild West. I'm not gonna find anything. It's gonna be desert. Yeah, and that's like thick desert. Yeah, it's gotta look good across a very large surface. See, this is like a desert town, but not my kind of desert. Or even something with a nice HDRI would be kind of nice. Old Wild West Sky West City. What is this? This is amazing. Leave the guns at the bar. Oh, cool. It literally is a Wild West steampunk environment. It's steampunk. Wild West town, saloon and airship. $13. What are some of the actual primary buildings though? It doesn't quite. Is there enough building variation in the outskirts here to give us what we want outside? Maybe this is 2 packs in one, which would be amazing. I think it does. Gambling hall, saloon, trader. It doesn't really showcase. Wild West town, Wild West Old Town, Wild West City. Animated. 3,400 vertices. Do we take a gamble? Do we take a $13 gamble? That it works for us. I love these airships. I like this concept actually. Steampunk. Let's add it to our cart. Because originally, like, if that's $13 and gives us all Wild West. Yeah, because there's like these. These are more like super high detail, but we only need 8 buildings. These are super pretty though. So what I'm looking for these type of materials right here. Just the ground, kind of ground plane, like this type of sand, right, that we can use to scale out. Like some of this stuff's so bad. Some of the stuff we truly could do better ourselves. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, the unraid characters. It's so many options. This is what I love. Yeah, these entertainables. These guys have a really nice set. Make a side project. We're making a Western game. Just a 4-player co-op, you know, protect the train game. See, like this, right? $10. Not as detailed. Kind of very poor. That's great. I can't make any game because my computer went out. Oh no, that sucks. I have a whole bunch of horse stuff too from Unity. See, that's what I want. Just right, just these materials here for the exterior. Like, all of this is wonderful. Palms, different variations of trees. Right, my 17,000 epic free game assets and RPG makers cannot be used for now. What happened to your computer? Armored wagon. Like a fully rigged dude, man. Like, just boom. $4 dude. I think I'm gonna pick up that airship one. And I'm gonna hope that it has an HC Orion. Like, look at these, like fully rigged character. Low pollen. Dollars of them. What's up with all the Kane West models? Oh, because we're searching Wild West. That makes sense. Well, there's a lot of these guys, man, that are fully rigged, and only $4, which is wild to me. Oh, available in a Wild West pack. With 5 characters. That's so funny. Are they actually rigged? OBG, yeah, 5 Wonder Files. Rigged. I had some diagnostics done. It looks like the motherboard, but at this point, I guess I can crowdfund a build. I don't know. A build for like game design. Yeah, I think I want. Oh, dude, some of this stuff is great. These are good NPCs. $12 for a full set of like characters we can use. Let's see the poly count. Yeah, that's good. You're supposed to say game dev. You're gonna hit a soda cart too. I love this 70% off sale. I hope so. I'm doing all right. I'd like to get like some of these side project things going. I need more. I need to get some more stuff out while I'm in the middle of working on US. See, like $25, or $50 in discounts because of the sale. Yeah, that's why I wonder if we have a HDRI. I would love to just find like just buildings, but I'm looking for landscape that we can adjust. There's some geometry nodes. Like, I want this, right? Fantasy desert. But in realistic, fashion. Like canyons. Right, because we're used to seeing this. Right, in low poly, but I want to try to find like what the real terrain would have been for those type of games. Right, so this is super simple. Yeah, I guess it's really canyon, right? Like canyon terrain. This is really nice. But a little bit out of budget. Okay, so that's that is what we're looking for, a canyon terrain. It's exactly what we're looking for. Any free ones? I mean, it's kind of it, but not really. Hey, you want to check on sale? Yeah, we really just need enough height map information to make our own approximations. Sandstone and cliffs, because this is kind of what we want to generate. .500 meters of random. See, ideally the goal would be to make something like this. I don't know, let's go with what we got here. Let me check this out. Weird, there's no files. I literally just bought this asset pack and there's like no files here. Alright, okay, that's all done. I guess for now, let's just go find a desert. Wild West. Skybox. I actually have this whole setup, which is amazing. See, I wish I knew where he was getting these environments, you know what I mean? Yeah, these are awesome. I'm gonna grab the sound. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, music is good. Is that Unity? It is Unity. Yep, I'm using Unity to grab some of the art from my library. We're going to be making a multiplayer defend the train shooter. And I'm mostly just planning and getting stuff organized here today for day one. I was working on a Unity 2D game like 2 weeks ago. Oh, awesome. Yeah, most of the stuff I do is in Godot. And with a touch of like, you know, many other things. It sucks though. I just bought a wonderful asset pack for the, yeah, this should be pretty straightforward. The only thing that's going to be a little bit complicated is the dynamic generation of railroad tracks. And, you know, even that probably won't be that complicated, depending on how I kind of do it. We could kind of do it like in the classical sense, you know, with predefine like, you know, the curves. Like kind of get them like literal pieces and, you know, just make them like procedural. But I'd like to be able to make a dynamic curve and have them automatically just confined to the curve. But it might be a bit too complicated. So we just need to make a quick gray box of the coal cart, the train. And this is probably going to absolutely destroy the stream. Let me just change this. Oh, too much stuff in the scene there. Oh, where did it turn off? Go. Hi. Yeah. How did the space game turn into steampunk? We're taking a swirling to solve some unforgiven space problems while also creating some solutions. So remember the project of the object container system? Let's go back. So, we have an object container in the test zone. It's the first of its kind, and it needs full integration in the unforgiven space. We know this one works, right, in a single form. So what is a train, Train is exactly the same thing, right? If we think about a train on a track, it's just 8 spaceships, but autopilot tracking each other in a formation, right, as far as how they work systemically. So there's a game my son really, really enjoys on Roblox, and it's a very simple game, simple in concept anyway. It's first person. You have a train. You have 4 people, so 4 or 8 people. It plays in first person. Your goal is to start off in a little town, and you buy like coal, some bandages, med pens, coal, the resource of fuel that powers a spaceship, and you pretty much everyone just kind of jumps in a train, either in the caboose or in the front, and they just travel along. The track is automatically generated, and it can only go forward. And the goal is pretty much to see how far you can go without running out of fuel and getting killed. So in the nighttime, there's like a day and night cycle. And there's things that come out and attack you, typical NPCs, aiming at you, trying to kill you. If you kill them, and if they're outlaws, you can throw their bodies on the train. So when you get to the nearest station, every 10 kilometers, there's a similar little outlaw town, and you throw all their bodies, on into the little sheriff's little jail cell, and you get points, you get credits, you get gold, and you upgrade your weapons, and they're very limited ammo. You're gonna die pretty much, right? Your whole team is gonna get wiped, and the mini game's goal is just to see how far you can get. So I wanted to create something that allows me to continue working on Unforgiven Space, and could solve a few challenges upon Forgiven Space in isolation. A being, this is going to use the zone system, but the zones are going to have links in between them. So between the cabins, there's a zone link. So you kind of go from cabin to cabin, and that should be all stable. So even when the train is, so it's wave-based roguelike. I guess so, yeah. It already exists in Roblox anyway. It's an alpha game. But I figured, this might be a good one to make a standalone, and no network infrastructure, nothing crazy other than the zone system. We'll use Steamworks, to do all the, matchmaking, just Fishy Steamworks on top of, or not Fishy Steamworks, Godot Steamworks, on top of the standard Godot networking. So this is very simple, but there's a few things that I want to do in Unforgiven Space. One is train generation, right? Dynamic terrain generation is needed. And I want to do a dune planet. Well, what's a dune planet? A dune planet is Space Arizona. We already know this. I've chatted with this before, how I want to do Arizona-ish Arrakis type planet. So, it's going to be a flat desert starting because we're just making this thing, work. Day and night cycle, simple sky shader. You kind of get the idea, but but we already know this is playable. We already know that I can, post this thing, and but all of the assets are going to be on Forgiven Spaces, right? All the models. As I'm working on gunplay for this, it's just on Forgiven Spaces gunplay. They're just a shotgun or a rifle instead of a space rifle. So any IK that I do is going to be parallel to Unforgiven Space. No time wasted, same, everything's the same, right? The only thing that's not the same is the characters themselves, right? Like we went and bought about $100 worth of assets. I got the train, because we're just gonna bang it out, it's just a concept. Like I want something that I can bring to market really quickly using the technologies that we've already built as a studio. And to be honest, if I can throw this on Steam for $100 with a couple $100 worth of assets, and it's a quick little invite, so you asset flip a smaller set of gameplay mechanics, or more so you have some passive income coming in that's covering the cost of the mechanics already done, and it helps segment out a universal monolithic studios character controller, right? Because we'll still be using the same FPS controller, same interactor, same, right? So you end up a microcosm, right, of of polish and stuff, and while solving this, it's solving all of the right things. And it could be, I don't care if it's profitable. The big, as a studio, all I care about is getting Unforgiven Space off the ground. But if I can spend $350 and time, obviously the time is the biggest cost, but just say $350 worth of assets to get this thing on the asset store, and then fill in all of the the concept behind it. And it's fun, you know what I mean? Just as a little standalone little kill off all the enemies, defend the train, Wild West kind of feel. I already got music and everything for it. I've probably $4,000 worth of assets in the asset store. So I think this would be cool. It's a little Godot showcase, I know some of these assets are from different marketplaces, but it kind of shows what Godot can do. I think this could be cool, right? Because all of the work has already been paid for by our time that we've already spent. We've already made all these animations. We've already made these systems. It's and it's still in the Cowboy style, right? So sneaking, crouching, and yeah, I'm waiting now for one of the art. I purchased this pack from CG Trader, and I was super hoping that it would be downloadable, but it's apparently not. But it's a Sky pack, but it was pretty cheap. It has all the different buildings. I wouldn't put them in the sky, obviously. They're just going to be on the ground, but they have terrain. They have just enough, right? Because all we really want is, if you think about it, where are we here, right? General store, the traders, the saloon. There's only going to be 8 buildings in each of the cities that we actually need, right? It's just the systems of buying coal, trading in our resources, upgrading the weapons, and that's it. It's meant to be you get 4 people together, you join a lobby, someone starts the game, you kind of play with your buddies to see how far you can get. It could be the stupidest game imaginable. It could not sell. If it makes back the $300 or $400 of assets or whatever, cool. Either way, it's something under my belt, and it's just continuing to fund the engineering of Unforgiven Space, right? So and we're going to keep focusing on mechanics, in this case, because I thought it's just a single object container. There's only one spaceship, there's only one train. All the edge cases of shooting a zombie or a creature from inside the train out of the physics zone, or if a projectile or a grenade was thrown into the train, Like, how stable would that be? Like, does it all work well? We don't really know in isolation, you know. With a game that only has, you know, hard coded one physics zone for each train caboose. This is perfect, right? This is a very good isolated environment to be able to kind of test, right? So I think it's a good idea. I know, like, you know, immediately he might be taken as like, oh no, you know, we're going to work on another game. But like, it came very clear to me when I was chatting with Booch and a few others in the Godot Discord that like Unforgiven Space is going to take a while. You know what I mean? And the only way we can really push US is to get the funding right to a level where I can kind of help like get another artist. Like, I need another artist working part-time. That's what I need right now, more than anything. I know everything else will fall in place, but as an accelerator, artist part-time goal, right? And how can we do that? Well, you know, we can keep slowly growing the Patreon, and it'll get there. I'm sure it will, right? I don't think anyone has doubts US is going to happen. If I could have another product running simultaneously, that's running all of our internal engineering. The thing is, they're going to find bugs. You know what I mean? It's going to be in a release product. Like, the fine-tuning of the first-person controller with a smaller game directly, like exposes things that we've never seen. You know what I mean? Like, on the bug side of things. So I hope that all makes sense. You're like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, it does make sense. And I think it's a good idea, but it might like slow down development, but it could slow down development to accelerate development. Like, I could launch this thing. It's a stupid, you know, $10 game or something. You know what I mean? It's just meant to be like a weekend, like, buy a 10-pack for $30, or sorry, buy a 4-pack for $30. Like, buy like a 4-pack to share with your friends on Steam. So if you're like drinking on a Friday, oh, this game, what's this game? This is cool. Let me just buy a 4-pack, you know, and then share them out, the keys out with your buddies, and you screw around with it, and you have a bit of fun, and it's like old school cowboys and Indians, or cops and robbers, whatever you want to call it, but in a moving, you know, roguelike kind of endless runner. Like, how far can you get? And we'll have leaderboards, right? So it's the leaderboards for your team. You know, that kind of, you know, gives you a little bit of incentive to kind of keep playing. But the goal is not to have a huge incentive to keep playing. It's just meant to be fun while you're playing it. Right? It's a couple little carrots, nothing crazy. We don't want crazy activity. It's just meant to be a not bad game, you know? And I love trains. So, you know, bringing a train. You can even add more you can totally, it can scale, but I don't want to focus on scalability of this thing. It's 8 buildings, one town, procedural rail generation, procedural like spawn points, you know, like dynamic nav meshes, you know, so it just chunks. Like, the idea is a seed is created from the very beginning. That seed determines which chunks get loaded in. The chunks are kind of like their own little bit of like proc-gen, you know, desert assets. You know, they pre-bake their nav meshes in advance because we kind of know what the player is going to be facing, because, you know, it's already seeded, and they see how far they can go. And sometimes it'll be a random seed, and they're just kind of screwed from the get-go. Sometimes you might have bad luck. You know, you might have just like, you know, like areas where there's very little resources and you run out of fuel, and right. But I think that's what makes it interesting, right? It's kind of like just working with your buddies. Someone's driving the train. You know what I mean? People are kind of on watch, looking out for like things to raid, and they work together to kind of raid small villages and stuff along the way. So it's kind of, you know, like just a defend the train game. This would look cool in VR. It could actually probably be a VR game. That probably wouldn't be that bad in VR. That's a scope thing. I'm not going to think about that because we already have, you know what I mean? Like, we already have the art assets. I would love to do it, I think it should be a maybe later. You know what I mean? Because that could be a whole DLC. You know what I mean? VR scope creep, right? Like we could let's just make it, and if people will like it, like, oh, we'll make a VR version, and then we do the VR version when we're thinking about VR for Unforgiven Space. You know what I mean? Like just stick it out there, and you know what I mean. Otherwise, like, yeah, VR scope creep would be like kind of. So that's like the idea, right? That's the, you know, just take zone system, port it over to ships, build up. Oh yeah, I wanted to. I was really hoping, man, I'd have those art assets. I was waiting for that today. But this is day one. I started prototyping this after work. I got the art assets for the train. I have all of the train stuff done. Right, the train is good. Train is checkbox. We're just making gray box train because there's no point of using the cool art assets. Here, let me tease you to kind of what's coming with this. I'm gonna switch. Let me switch off my teleport real quick, and I'm gonna go to. Yeah, turn off teleport, and we're going to switch over to the actual. We're going to switch over to the capture card, and here I am trying to just make it independent gravity volumes. It's really. Okay, so here we go. You ready? So I'm going to close out OBS here. We're just going to use the capture card. I'll turn it on again after. So this is the art assets that I kind of picked up. So this is Jacob. Right, like I'm prepared to invest a little bit of money into this. Right, so here's Jacob. Fully rigged, ready to go. There's two different variations of them. Right, so good fidelity matches the rest of the aesthetic. Remember, we can go more detailed because we're only making the world around the little train. Like it's only the train and the train tracks and just the the desert and the tumbleweeds and the we can go a little bit more detailed with it. Right, so I have my little dude with his gun. And that's it. Like that's all I get. We'll add a shotgun as well, but so we have our little male, and then I also have the female has clothes on. I'm determined to make all my mechanics in GD script. Do it. Great. So we have. I think these are perfectly fine for, A/B characters. And these are all rigged and ready to go. And you have all these different variations, blend shapes, the AR kit stuff. But that didn't really matter. All I really cared about was, like, let's get some art assets we can play with. From when we're playing shooty with each other, and I have a bunch of different, there's two different variations of them, plus an outlaw version where we have like different. Originally, I was gonna do just some dudes with, like low poly dudes with bandanas, but I'm like, it's a 4 or 8 player game, so we can totally handle a bit higher quality assets, and then the bandits will be the same guys. Everyone's kind of the same guy, just with some different very basic variations. So works. And then the train, the poor old train doesn't like. Oh, it's so detailed. I just need to find a good shotgun at some point. So I got music, fonts. I think so. I've kind of gotten my, I've made my little, what is the word? Like I've set out all the brushes, on the desk. So there's nothing too complicated. just put together, you know, the Unforgiven Space mechanics, you know. It does not like this blend file, man. It uses up all of my RAM. So, 10 years later, we'll see this one. Ten years later, this is what I was doing earlier. I was trying to break up all of these because all of the textures are embedded in the blend file, and the blend file is like 3 gigs, and it's impossible to work with. So the way it works, right? We're just gonna have like an interactable area on the side of this thing for just throwing coal into it. So like there's coal, you just jump up on the back. Anything you throw in there, like rigid body, it becomes fuel. So it's the same mechanic, right? The only thing cool that it is we get oh, it's performing so bad. I need to get like do. This is why I turned off OBS, and I'm just using the capture card right now because like my computer will be locked up solid right now. The stream would be like nothing. And none of this is even high poly, it's just a sheer number of embedded materials. So if we, so all of these different modules make up all the different types of cabinets that exist, all like era specific. And we have, you know, all the different trains. So I think these would be kind of cool, you know, like once we actually kind of get them all like in and kind of like made. Some of this stuff is like more modern than we would ever need, and it needs to be a little bit less modern, but I don't care too much about that. I also don't know why there's a pearlescent shader like on the bottom. I mean, it's not quite accurate, but you know, whatever. But you know, this works. Right? You can jump up on the side to get in. So this will just be a ladder mechanic that you will just automatically go up. You know, jump in. The second you touch the ladder, you're in the zone. So that's what I like about it too. Like I can make kind of like an interaction point between them. So when you interact with it, you go into the zone like on the ladder, and like when you jump off, you automatically leave. Right? So it's like the zone is kind of floating. And it's the same for like these. Like when you kind of like climb up, and you can kind of go from cart to cart. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. Don't save. And like I said, we could be a bit, we could be a little bit out of scope, you know, like with like the art direction. But if I didn't have the art assets, then I probably wouldn't go like this crazy with it. But at least I wanted to get those now. I wanted to see what was available, see what the total cost would be, you know, get music and everything, like figure out, like, you know, I didn't want to have the question, you know, where we could go with it. And I wanted to just be able to kind of do a quick, like, full, like, few week sprint of, like, putting together the mechanics of the other game in, like, gray box pill form. And then, like, when I know it works, then, boom, just put the art together. And then do a demo. So this will be pretty cool. So, yep, train game. Yeah, we can kind of walk around the edges. You know, like it's turning out to be like really good. Yeah, so we gotta reintroduce the gravity stuff. I don't know why I have to. Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong screen. Let me relaunch my OBS. I hate this blind file, man. Oh, this blind file kills me. Yeah, so we just need the trace and get the train knocked up in just very basic form. So. What? Well, didn't that cut through all of it? Whatever. There are like only visible faces at somewhere. I just have skeleton mode enabled. But we're just gonna mirror it. Like this has to be like geometrically accurate, but you know, not like, you know, super actually accurate. Because it's only going to be just a simple gray box. I just want to make sure that, like, for scale purposes, that all the windows are where they should be. Oh my god, I can't keep drawing. Yeah, why is backslash on? Oh, it's just locking up because it's the model in the background. I hate this model. I mean, I like it, but I don't like the fact that it's so, it's a bit rough, you know? Alright, so this little box is all that really matters. What does it keep doing that? Go away. Where's the cube? Where's the cube? Where's the cube? Where's that cylinder again? Yeah, so this is like perfectly fine for what we're going to be using it for. As a gray box, it has height, and you know how high things are. We just need to know where the ladders are. Yeah, I need this scale the other way. No, I don't care about the location of it. There we go. Now, what did I do with that cylinder? Oh, they're all cylinder. Oh. He's washing their back. Times 11. Okay. I need to get. Why? Can I just view the meshes and no materials for this? So we can actually work with these assets. But I think we're going to end it here on YouTube. We're going to go and get ready to raid someone tomorrow, and then to after work, I'm going to actually get the yeah. I just need to get these individual gray box models in the build, so we know where things are. Like, no, you know, just on the ground, trains. There we go. We can work with this. So where did our did we delete it? Did I accidentally delete it? Alt H. No, there it is. Why can't you join? And I would like to yeah, if I could just copy those, hide the original border. Take this one, yeah, take this, this, in the main body. It's really all I'm, like, that's where the players can go. Get this actually like separated. Do the working canister and the caboose. Like, we're not trying to do anything crazy. We just want the train. You know what I mean? Because we know we just need these. Yeah, we want it just a regular bit. Why are these even like doing that? Okay, so this empty represents where the model starts. I guess so. And the Y is under an empty. Yeah, let me just clear this. Yeah, and we're just gonna throw this like in the actual project file. Oh, actually, I actually don't want that to be back-faced. Where's the light on the bottom? I don't even get it. Oh, I see. It was a scale. Alright, we'll leave it there. And tomorrow tomorrow all we're gonna do is just do the base. So we just wanna get this one gray boxed and one of these gray boxed with an interior. So then we have the workspace, right? We know how big the cars are gonna be, we know how big Cola's gonna be, If you don't care about anything else, I can go later on. It's just getting the 3 zones set up and going from there. You should actually turn. Yeah, so we're just gonna grab like a low. Well, tomorrow we'll make a low poly version of the wheels and the boxes, and then we should be good. Anyway, I'm gonna go raid someone, and we'll keep at it. If there's a project you guys are interested in testing, just check out the Discord at unforgivenessbase.com, and you know, we'll do some testing of this probably next week in its very basic form. And if I can get the art assets resolved that I'm supposed to be using, that'd be great.